also have Bay Area news and a developing story. A Vallejo murder suspect could be connected to other killings that happen around the country.
All right, in Missouri tonight, police are investigating the mysterious disappearance of 6 people. All of them vanished without a trace from a home they shared in St. Louis.
A leader held a victim upside down over a train track for stealing food. A cult that forced kids to work in awful conditions has been exposed. Today we're talking about the United Nation of Islam, also known as UNO.
They also shared, the 6 people, a connection to this man, Rashad Jamal, a self-proclaimed prophet and rapper who runs an online religious group with thousands of followers on social media.
So what happens when you meet a man and then you start dating and he never leaves for 3 years? Then you find out that he's been sexually abusing your daughter, terrorizing you, and that he's a cult leader.
Your dirt is catching up to you. Pay attention to your kids. Don't let that person wrestle and lay on them or do all that stuff. Please watch your kids. Whatever the case is, y'all have a blessed day. I'm gonna get up off here.
And be able to get a feel for you more than just some of them little articles about you being a cult leader and all that crazy shit. Like, there's none of that shit true though. Like that Diana quote got ended up dead in a car crash. Michael Jackson warned us in songs like, it don't matter if it's black or white, and they don't really care about us. He was killed by his doctor. Yeah, bro, you know how they do it.
They got guns, we got guns.
We the spiritual assassins. Like, we do this galaxy to galaxy. Imagine how the Green Berets move. That's who we are spiritually. Our brother Zeus / Satan elected to go against us. That's what this is all about. Because once you came here, Satan know who you is too.
When you live in a poor neighborhood, you're living in an area where you have to have poor schools. When you have poor schools, you have poor teachers. When you have poor teachers, you get a poor education. And when you get a poor education, you're to get my mode on this one, Joe. I feel it's more grace. I think about this.
A group of 6 people, including 2 young children, have been missing since August 2024, and police say that the adults all have one thing in common, that they all had openly been following a self-proclaimed prophet and rapper with a massive social media following.
All right, in Missouri tonight, police are investigating the mysterious disappearance of 6 people. All of them vanished without a trace from a home they shared in St. Louis. They also shared, the 6 people, a connection to this man, Rashad Jamal, a self-proclaimed prophet and rapper who runs an online religious group with thousands of followers on social media. Jamal is the creator of the University of Cosmic Intelligence, which, according to its website, is geared towards enlightening and illuminating the minds of carbonated beings.
Rashad Jamal White, a social media influencer, created the University of Cosmic Intelligence, an online religious group with thousands of followers. Now, according to this website, the University of Cosmic Intelligence is geared toward enlightening and illuminating the minds of the carbonating beings on Earth, aka the Black and Latino peoples of Earth. Here's a quote from the site owner. "I am a god, and all of my people, the Black and Latino people, are gods, and we are made in the image of our Creator." Jamal said this in a video posted in May of 2022. "Therefore, I am an extension of her/them, and I am the creator and destroyer of my reality. So I take full responsibility for all events that I have experienced throughout this lifetime. For this is what we call shadow work in the spiritual realm." See, I know a lot of people can't tell, but he's using spirituality and shadow work as his entry point by deviating into his own personal beliefs once he hooks you in. It's a typical cult lord. Jamal has a massive following on social media with nearly 200,000 followers on TikTok, more than 10,000 followers on X, and over 90,000 followers on Instagram. But as his influence grew, so did the danger surrounding his movement.
Nearly $800,000. That's the bond set for the man accused of murdering his mother with a samurai sword.
He says he'd gone out to get some food and couldn't reach anyone when he tried calling home. Then he says his son called saying that his mom was dead and Damien had hurt her. But Washam says he noticed subtle changes over the past 4 to 6 weeks. He says his son sold his beloved PlayStation games and started watching strange videos of Egyptian mythology and conspiracies, and had an infatuation with the sun.
Now, I don't know if you can entirely blame this man for what this random dude did committing all these crimes, but with a samurai sword? Seriously?
Damien, they say that you killed your mom and injured 2 family members with a sword. Did you do that?
You change hard enough for your own family to notice? Where you're locking and barring doors? Man, there has to be something going on with these internet cults or something, because, as you're about to see later on, members of these groups seem to love striking people down with samurai swords. Man, this shit's insane.
Washam says his 23-year-old son Damien has no criminal record except for a misdemeanor arrest in Saraland for possession of a marijuana joint and no history of mental illness.
By 2024, 6 people linked to Rashad Jamal's teachings had just gone missing. Families of his followers reported that their loved ones had cut off contact, abandoned their lives, and apparently disappeared into isolated communities.
And I said, you don't know where you're going. I just got a bad feeling about this.
Sin says German also left a daughter behind.
I would like for her to have a conversation with her daughter, who wakes up at night screaming for her mom, who asks why her mom isn't here.
All of a sudden she had new company to move in, and then things started changing. After that, she wasn't Mikael no more.
Michaela Thompson, 25 of St. Louis. Naaman Williams, 30 of Washington, D.C. Jeriel German, 27 of Lakehorn, Mississippi. Ashton Williams, 2 years old, of Lakehorn as well. Michaela Wickerson, 36 of St. Louis. And Malaya Wickerson, 3 years old, of St. Louis. They were all living in the same damn St. Louis house before briefly disappearing. It seems this man, this cult leader, was the one responsible for their disappearance. They were last seen August 13th, 2023 at a Quality Inn hotel at 55 Dunn Road in Florissant, Missouri. And later, when police searched the house, they found it left as if the individuals had just gone to the store and were expecting to return. Food was still in the microwave, laundry was still in the washing machine, and left behind were several valuables, including a closet full of shoes that honestly was worth thousands of dollars. Former members of this group spoke out about bizarre rituals, including polygamy, naked meditation sessions, and strict isolation from outsiders.
So what happens when you meet a man and then you start dating and he never leaves for 3 years? Then you find out that he's been sexually abusing your daughter, terrorizing you, and that he's a cult leader.
At that time, so he needed somewhere to stay. So he definitely was so in my ear to the point it was crazy. I was isolated from my friends within 2 weeks. Literally, I was held at gunpoint when, oh my God.
The typical shit signs we usually see when a cult's involved, including some extra things that was also discovered, like being pressured into cutting ties with family and friends, and surrendering control of their lives entirely. No doubt their bank accounts as well. But that wasn't all of it. The police also discovered an altar, items wrapped in copper, and other odd findings that led them to believe that the adults were fully living and completely fully involved with the cult. In 2024, Rashad Jamal was convicted of various crimes in the state of Georgia, but was eventually sentenced to 18 years in prison for child molestation and cruelty to children.
Here's the first red flag. Jamal is also a convicted child molester, currently serving an 18-year prison sentence. All of this is creating a living nightmare for the friends and families of the 6 people who vanished with no word or warning.
Your dirt is catching up to you. Pay attention to your kids.
What? Police running my crib a few weeks ago because my baby mama went and filed the report and told them that I hurt her daughter.
Don't let that person wrestle and lay on them or do all that stuff. Please watch your kids. Whatever the case is, y'all have a blessed day. I'm gonna get up off here.
The missing include 2 young children, just 2 and 3 years old. They're among half a dozen cult members who haven't been seen since August, and the cult leader at the heart of all of this is still influencing massive amounts of followers all over the country from a Georgia prison.
His supporters claim that these charges are bogus, part of a conspiracy to silence him. But the evidence was so overwhelming that nothing could save him, and he was sentenced to prison. Despite this, his online influence still goes on to this day, with his devoted followers continuing to spread his teachings, proving that even behind bars, cult leaders can still hold power over their disciples.
Our brother Zeus / Satan elected to go against us. That's what this is all about. Because once you came here, Satan know who you is too.
Peace to the gods and goddesses of planet Kai. The doors are open. Welcome to class reflection.
Hi. That seems
In a developing story, a Vallejo murder suspect could be connected to other killings that happen around the country because authorities have discovered that he applied for a marriage license with a woman accused of murder in Vermont. Maximilian Snyder is accused of stabbing and killing a person in Vallejo last Friday, and that victim was a witness to a crime. Police believe that witness was intentionally killed so they couldn't testify in court against a woman. There is a woman connected to Snyder. Her name is Teresa Youngblood, and she is charged in the shooting death of a Border Patrol agent in Vermont. So police are continuing to see what kind of connection there is between these 2 people. We've reached out to the FBI. We don't have a comment, but we do.
Jack Ziz Lasota was a radical thinker who gained a following among young intellectuals that were disillusioned with mainstream and the current track of society.
This has all the makings of a Netflix cult docudrama. These Zizians appear to be a group of mostly transgender computer scientists who met online, united in anarchist beliefs, including radical veganism, and turned violent.
The group is involved in practices including unihemispheric sleep, a state similar to hypnosis where people sleep with one eye open. The practice is intended to demonstrate that the brain's 2 hemispheres are separate identities that, according to Lasota's blog, often desired to kill each other.
His teachings revolved around extreme veganism, gender fluidity, and artificial intelligence. But while these topics alone aren't necessarily crazy or alarming, his interpretation of them damn sure was. See, Ziz preached that humanity was corrupt beyond saving. He believed that only those who reached a higher consciousness could escape the cycle of destruction. And this, apparently, required purging the world of those who stood in their way. See, the internet gave Ziz a megaphone so he can speak to the world. Through forums, encrypted messaging apps, and YouTube, he built a cult-like community out of followers who took his words as gospel. Some even became willing to act on them. Since 2023, multiple violent incidents across the United States have apparently been linked to the Zizians.
Lind was attacked. According to police reports, one of the Zizians, Emma Borhanian, swung a sword at him, partially blinding him. Lind, acting in self-defense, shot and killed Borhanian.
And other cult members, including a horrific attack with a samurai sword.
He says, I'm dying. I saw him with a samurai sword sticking through his back and came out his chest about here. Had a flap of his face cut off and blood.
Curtis Lynn, Ziz's landlord, was allegedly attacked 3 years ago in Vallejo, California, after he threatened to evict Ziz and the others living on his land.
Oh, to think, this man was letting them stay there rent-free. And the moment he asked for rent, they stab him with a samurai sword? And this shit's insane. This cult that was started by Jack Ziz Lasota. In several of these cases, followers were charged with murders that they claimed were part of a cleansing process. And the authorities have struggled to track the full extent of the group's influence. And as many of the members operate in secrecy and are investigating at least 6 killings across the United States that are apparently connected to members of this group, including a double homicide in Pennsylvania.
An elderly couple that were killed in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, were shot execution style in their homes on New Year's Eve.
Police found a gruesome scene. Richard and Rita Zajko, Michelle's parents, had been shot to death.
A knife attack in California.
They jumped him, they used a samurai sword, and they stabbed him repeatedly, including in the eye. He fought back even though he was grievously injured. Gunshots were fired, and he ended up killing one of his attackers and injuring another.
And the shooting of a United States border guard in January of 2023.
And spoke exclusively to a friend of one of the latest victims. Brian, this story is wild.
Yeah, it's wild, Elizabeth. Investigators say radical veganism, transgenderism, and artificial intelligence were all the passions of this death cult. The leader was arrested on Sunday, as you said, but not before a string of killings across the country, including a border agent.
On January 20th, 2025, U.S. Border Patrol agent David Mayland stopped a suspicious vehicle in Coventry, Vermont. A car connected to Felix Bockholt and Teresa Youngblood. Moments later, gunfire erupted. Mayland was killed in the shootout. Bockholt also died at the scene. Youngblood was shot and wounded, but survived.
3 other alleged members of the group have already been charged with murder, while Jack Lasota himself denies any direct involvement in these crimes. Law enforcement continues to investigate his role in radicalizing these young minds. Whether his movement will fade or grow stronger, that shit remains to be seen.
Tied to 6 killings across 3 states.
I would describe some of the crimes that they're accused of as being demonic, you could say.
The landlord, who had barely survived the sword attack, was still prepared to testify against the group. On January 17, 2025, Lind was found murdered in his home. Authorities charged another Zizian, 22-year-old Maximilian Snyder, with the killing. Prosecutors allege Snyder was sent to kill Lind specifically to prevent him from testifying.
NAS, nerve attenuation syndrome.
A leader held a victim upside down over a train track for stealing food.
A nationwide plot to force kids to work for free and live in terrible conditions has led to criminal charges.
A cult that forced kids to work in awful conditions has been exposed. Today we're talking about the United Nation of Islam, also known as UNOI.
Federal prosecutors say the ringleaders answered to a man based in KCK. This is Royall Jenkins. We're talking about a group called the United Nation of Islam.
Owed a duty to Allah
which meant working at a UNIO business. The defendants convinced the victims that if they did not comply with the rules, including performing their, quote, duty, or if they left UNIO, they would burn in an eternal hellfire or experience tragedy. Those who broke the rules also received Fruit of Islam beatdowns.
Now, for decades, Kansas City, Missouri has apparently been home to one of the most sinister cults in modern history. The United Nation of Islam, not related to the Nation of Islam apparently, also known as the Value Creators, was not just another religious offshoot, but this shit was apparently a full-scale operation that was built on control, exploitation, and fear.
Carolyn, UNOI also goes by the Promise Keepers and the Value Creators, so different names, but a judge just simplified the matter when he called them a cult. Prosecutors say they preyed on kids and families wanting education. Instead, it was forced labor.
Royall preached that he would be the one to help minorities rise up from oppression, and we believed him.
We want this planet back. Whether any white people, black people, any people come at all, we got to get this planet back. And it's already started back. We've already started it back on this journey.
5 men and 3 wives of Royall Jenkins face criminal charges of conspiracy and forced labor. Investigators say children were sent to businesses all over the country to work for free.
I'm the one that everybody's expecting to come, although they don't believe it.
Jenkins claimed that in approximately 1978, he was abducted by angels who transported him through the galaxy in a spaceship and instructed him how to rule on Earth.
Led by a man named Royall Jenkins, who claimed to be Allah or God and had multiple different wives. This group preached a warped doctrine that mixed elements of Islam, self-improvement, and financial success. And Jenkins, who also claims that he was abducted by aliens and claimed that he was taught divine truths by God, he managed to actually convince people to follow him and to completely devote their lives to his rules and his ways of life. But that devotion came at a steep cost. See, the members, many of them children, were forced into unpaid labor in filthy, rat-infested facilities. They worked long hours in businesses owned by the cult, including some bakeries and some restaurants, under the promise that their suffering would lead to their spiritual enlightenment. This was just a front, of course, for what it really was: forced child labor without any pay, and even beatings and other abuses were being reported that had been dealt to these children. I mean, we have the federal prosecutor saying that the organization used fear to help convince children into working up to 16 hours a day in its storefronts, with names like Your Diner, Your Bakery, and Your Gas Station, and with multiple victims testifying that children were beaten and humiliated there regularly. Survivors later described horrific conditions. Children were denied proper schooling, and they were denied proper medical care as well. They were told that leaving the group meant eternal damnation in hellfire.
Duty to Allah, which meant working at a UNIO business. The defendants convinced the victims that if they did not comply with the rules, including performing their, quote, duty, or if they left UNIO, they would burn in an eternal hellfire or experience tragedy. Those who broke the rules also received Fruit of Islam beatdowns.
Yo, that's insane. Fruit of Islam beatdowns is wild. And the internet became a powerful tool for the group, allowing it to reach vulnerable people far beyond Kansas. See, through online content, they recruited new members, spreading their twisted ideology and using it to maintain control over those already trapped in it. But in 2024, justice finally caught up with them after years of investigations, some detective work. Several high-ranking members of the United Nation of Islam were convicted of conspiracy to commit forced labor, aka slavery, with the leader Royall Jenkins passing away in 2021. A lot of these charges were mainly against the 6 defendants that held high-ranking positions of influence within this United Nation of Islam, which a federal judge damn sure deemed a cult.
Carolyn, UNOI also goes by the Promise Keepers and the Value Creators, so different names, but a judge just simplified the matter when he called them a cult.
Who are you, sir?
Well, based on what you laid out, I'm the nucleus of that which is to be right, new, the righteous kingdom, the builder. I'm the nucleus of that. From that will be magnified on out to everyone that wants it. That's who I actually am now. As far as what the spiritual community or religious community, how they see things, I'm the one that everybody's expecting to come, although they don't believe it. So, in essence, that's who I really am.
Lind was attacked. According to police reports, one of the Zizians, Emma Borhanian, swung a sword at him, partially blinding him. Lind, acting in self-defense, shot and killed Borhanian.
Your dirt is catching up to you. Pay attention to your kids.
What? Police running my crib a few weeks ago because my baby mama went and filed the report and told them that I hurt her daughter.
Don't let that person wrestle and lay on them or do all that stuff. Please watch your kids. Whatever the case is, y'all have a blessed day. I'm gonna get up off here.
I know I've been gone for a while, guys. I wanted to take a break, but I'm back. I'm gonna be covering more topics like this, things that I'm more interested in too, so if you have any ideas, any dark cases, mysterious cases, conspiracy cases, let me know in the comment section. Leave me an email. And remember everybody, yo, be safe.